Hey guys, it's Maymay and welcome back to Father's Day week. And I've got to show you something that I thought was my genius idea, but apparently somewhere in my subconscious I saw it on Pinterest because after I was shopping, I was at Tuesday morning recently buying a bunch of goodies for some giveaways, and I ran across this set with clocks and watch faces in it. See these little clocks? Aren't they adorable? But look at this one. There's this one, and there's also another one, which we're going to use the other one, but I wanted to show you this. So when I saw this, I thought this is perfect for Father's Day. You know how much I love to do the pocket watch. I've done one of those already. And then I love this little guy. By the way, I'll link the pocket watch video below. This one, I thought, I'm going to turn this into a watch and put it on a card. Well, the reason I wanted to is because Vince is a lover of all watches. I don't think he's ever met one he doesn't love. So I come home and I start looking on the internet, and sure enough, somebody's already done it. But that's actually a good thing because it gave me another idea. So I'm going to use this little wooden piece that I got from that little set from Tuesday morning. And I'm also going to use one of these bottle caps from G's Creations. Actually, G's Metal Embellishment Emporium, where he sells his little jewelry fittings and things like that. Now this is one of the bottle caps that's already kind of flattened. I don't know if you can tell, but it's kind of already flat. It's not one like you get off of an actual soda bottle. But you can flatten these using your Cuttlebug machine or your embossing machine. Just put it between two plates and, you know, flatten it out. So you can flatten your own. But anyway, we're going to use one of those. But notice it doesn't have a clock face. So I went online and I found some clock images and I just printed it out. Actually, this is the same image. I just went ahead and printed it multiple times because you never know if you might mess up. And I did it on a scrap of some cardstock that was messed up. It's actually got some ink on the back of it. And I thought, what a good way to use up some yucky cardstock, right? So let's get started. First thing we'll do, I'm going to make two cards for you because I'm going to show you how to use this style of watch. I'm going to show you how to use this style. Let's go on and put the first card together. We'll start with the wooden watch face. Now I've gone ahead and gone through my stash and pulled out every little thing I want to use. And this is the ribbon I'm going to use for the watch band. It's a burlap ribbon that's seamed on the edges, and I thought it looked like a good watch band. This is the watch face we're going to use. This is the other one. I love this burgundy color. And then this is a backer for it. We'll get to all that as we get going. This paper is from Graphic 45, these two pieces. It's from the Communique or Communique. I don't know how to say that set, but it's from that set. And then I just used some of my solids for craft and cream and black. But this little piece comes from a Bo Bunny set called Somewhere in Time, which I thought was ironic since we're doing watches. And I thought this would be a cute, this is just a scrapbook piece with that little banner on it. And we're going to use it to put our sentiment in there. Okay, so let me show you what I did. I thought I would walk you kind of through this process. I built a card from the base up. Okay. So I knew I wanted to use this, and then I discovered I wanted to put this behind it to really make the face pop. What this is just a circle punch, a 1 3/4 inch circle punch of the paper from this paper pad to give me something behind it. Then I thought, I know I want to put this here, but see how this is so blended in? That wouldn't work. So I cut this piece of paper, okay, and then I went, how does this look on there? Well, it still blends in a little bit to me. So then I said, I really do this. Then I put some black behind it. Well, that doesn't do it for me either. So then I thought, what if I add a little bit of cream, a pop of color, and now I like where I'm going. So see how I build from the bottom up? I'm hoping that'll help you in your card making. So the first thing I'm going to do is put together this watch. So this watch face, which that is the top of it, I had it upside down, I'm glad I looked. I'm going to glue straight down to that little 1 3/4 inch circle punch I've got there. So to glue this little guy down, I'm going to use some art glitter glue, which I think does a pretty good job of this kind of stuff. I use it on just about everything nowadays. So just stick this guy down. And you can decide if you want your stripes to go in any certain direction. I'm just going to let them go up and down. I think that makes sense for the watch face. I just love that look. Okay, now then. This watch is going to get wrapped around this piece of paper. And I'm using this side, not the stamp looking side. I'm going to do something that, if you've ever watched my pink stamper, who is a reason I started at YouTube, she calls this the cheater method. And I'm going to take this ribbon and wrap it around this paper. And so I'm not going to build a watch, I'm just going to build the feel or the look of a watch. So I'm going to wrap that around, and that's a pretty good wrap there. And I'm going to turn it over and trim some of this away because it's touching on the back side and it'll get a little bulky. Now this is going to be not an extremely bulky card, but it might be too thick to mail without paying some additional, you know, fees or charges or what have you. And you definitely wouldn't want anybody to bend it, so you'll want to put, you know, non-machinable on the envelope if you're mailing this to Dad. Now here's the cheater method that she taught us, and that is to use a little Scotch tape to hold your ribbon in place instead of having to really glue it down. And I don't want to glue the back side down, and I'll show you why. These pieces are going to go behind it, but I want to be able to slide them in and put them where I want them because I'm not exactly sure. So I wanted that band in place before I did this because I want to be able to see what I'm looking like. See, I like that. I think that makes that watch pop so much. So I'm going to add some wet glue just to the back. I'm going to slide this one in kind of that manner that we just did the little test run on. Do the same thing with this guy. Some wet glue. And see, by having that ribbon wrap around, these aren't really having to hold any of the weight. They're just kind of in there for looks, and I like that. Alright then. Now, I have this sticky tape that I get from Punch Place Plus. I'll put a link to this below, and this tape is so strong, and I love it. And I'm going to put it behind this watch face to hold it to this ribbon. When you look at the description of this tape, it tells you that it's good for fabric as well, which I think is amazing. And I'm going to put it on both pieces and just kind of let it kind of, what do they call that? I forget. Mate. So we're going to kind of mate it. You don't have to do that. I just think it might help because that's on kind of a bumply fabric. How y'all like bumply for a word, right? Okay. So this dude is going to go right here, and we have built a watch. Just gonna, oh, it's crooked, and I'm never gonna get it lifted up. We'll try a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect, guys, because I don't do perfect, right? That's a good thing, huh? Okay, now let's put this guy down. How about I pull out my ATG? You hadn't seen that in a while, have you? I know, I haven't been using it much. Ever since I got that art glitter glue, I don't have to. I can just use that, but we'll just do this and put this guy down. Now this is the front of the card, so this one goes on this side, and then I'll fold it. I could have folded it before, but this is just fine. I'm going to leave it flat till I get it built. That way I won't have any bulk or anything. Now before I put this guy down, one thing I'm definitely putting this up on dimension to kind of lift it up. And this is the piece I want to use for my sentiment for this card. And I kind of want it in this area, so I wanted to see where I want it first. And let's go ahead and stamp on this little guy. And I'm going to use a stamp set that is from Close to My Heart that I've had for a very long time. Look how loved it is. Let me show you all those spots. Because I'm telling you, I used to be the worst with not cleaning my stamps. I was the worst. You can't even tell this says happy anymore. It's so bad because I used stays on and would not clean them. Not anymore. I'm not that way anymore. So I'm going to load these guys onto a stamp block. And actually, let me see something. Yeah, I can. I was afraid I couldn't, but I'm pretty sure I can just load them on. Usually when you touch them together, they'll kind of stick and become almost like one stamp. That's not wanting to stick. I still have my dotted line on there from earlier. Okay. Where'd my ink go? I know I got it out. Here it is. So now I'm going to ink this guy up. Now when you double load a stamp like this with two different images, you might want to do a little stamp off just to make sure. But I'm really okay with it if it's not perfect. I say that a lot, don't I? It's a good thing I don't have to be perfect, because I'd be in trouble. And do my little wiggle method. Look at that. It looks like it came on the paper. Isn't that cool? Let me lean it. I'm going to take it up where you guys can see it a little bit. I don't think you can see it real good. It's like it came in the paper pack. I love that. Alright, so let's see where it goes. It's going to go kind of down in this corner. So we'll just glue that straight down. Then I'm going to get some foam tape out for that other piece. And flip this guy over. Got a little piece of foam tape that was left over from a project. Just going to put that one in the middle. Cut myself some strips off of this. I'm not going to use a double layer. Sometimes you see me use 2 layers of foam tape. I'm not going to on this one. I'm just going to use 1. Okay. And put it on the card. Make sure you put it 12 o'clock facing up. I'm going to put it just like that. Stick that down. Now, if you don't like this moving around, you can adhere that down. I'm okay with it. It's not going to go anywhere, I don't believe. You might want, if you're going to stick it in an envelope, you might want to stick it down with something just to be safe. Let's use a bone folder and crease this guy down. Nice and firm. So there's card number 1 using the first kind of watch, which is that embellishment that I picked up. I think it's super cute. Now let's build card number 2. We're going to do it a lot like this, but just a couple of different things for the actual watch itself. For card number 2, I've pulled out these pieces. This is more Bo Bunny paper, and I just used the paper collection to help me do this. I knew I wanted this stripe in the background, and I really liked that it had this wave at the bottom. So then I thought I want to pull that navy out, okay, because I'm still doing the focal point, just like, or the focal image, just like I did with that watch. And this piece was from the paper pack, and I want to put it here, and it's going to hold the watch itself. And then I thought this would be really cool to kind of put here in this area, or even over here a little bit, just to have the sentiment on there. We're going to use a different stamp for it too. So let's build this watch first. So what I've done, I'll move this out of the way so it doesn't get us confused. I've taken this bottle cap and printed out those faces I told you about. Then I just went to my punches and got my 1-inch circle punch, and I'm just going to pick the one I want. This one looks like it'll be easier to get to. And I'm just going to center this in the circle punch. Whoop, and pop it out. Ah! Just like that. While I was putting this together, I remembered I had something I can use for it. These are Epoxy Circles that I get from Punch Place Plus, the same place I get the glue tape from. I'll leave that below. And she has something called Alta caps that are kind of like bottle caps, but they're acrylic and they come in color, and they have an indentation as well. So check this out. Let me give you an idea. Let's say you didn't have bottle caps and you had some of her Alta caps. You can drop that clock right in there just like we're going to do with the bottle cap and use it too. I'm glad I thought about that because I forgot I even had them, and I was going to tell you that you could just fill this with some glossy accents, which you can, or some 3D crystal lacquer, but I'm going to use one of these guys. Okay, so let's glue this in. I was going to leave it without anything, but I like the idea of putting that, so I'm glad I thought of that. Alright. And I gotta be honest, I love these epoxy dots. The reason I like them is because if you have crystal lacquer, 3D crystal lacquer, or glossy accents, if you've ever used them before, you know you have the drying time, the wait time. Watch this. This is one of these epoxy pieces. You just drop it into your circle. Now it is a 1-inch piece. Okay, press it down. You get the gloss, the look of the liquid, without any of the dry time. I love that about them. Love, love, love it. So anyway, Punch Place Plus for those things. And then, let's keep going. This is the ribbon I'm going to use for the band. Let me get my little piece that it's going on. At first I was like, maybe I shouldn't use black, but then as I got to looking, I think the black really looks good with it. So we're going to do the same thing, little cheater method, just like we did before. I'm going to flip this over and tape it down on the back. I'm just using good old Scotch tape. Use whatever you got. One thing I like about the Scotch tape is you can wrap it across the ribbon and you know it's not going to go anywhere. This is a velvet ribbon, by the way. It's a beautiful black velvet ribbon with a silver trim. And the funny thing about it is, I got this in a Christmas haul, like 90% off. And here we are using it for Father's Day. So check those clearance racks, guys. You can get some pretty good stuff in there. You don't have to use it just for Christmas. I'm picking stuff up on the velvet. Okay, so there is that. Now, I didn't feel like this watch needed anything behind it because of the light color. Let me bring it up here and show you. Because of the light color of that blue, I just didn't think it needed anything behind it, so I'm not going to add anything. But I am going to put a little glue behind this to hold this down because it's popping up a little bit more than I wanted it to. So put a little glue back there and lay that down. Give that a second to stick. Now for the watch, again, I'm going to use this really strong sticky tape. I'll put it on the back first. And I got some hanging off, so I'm going to trim that a little bit. I'm really enjoying doing these Father's Day crafts. It's really kind of pushing me because, you know, masculine stuff is hard to do. It's a lot easier to do girly stuff, right? Because it just seems like crafting is easy for that, and it's hard for masculine, in my opinion. Some of you guys might be really good at masculine and think, you could probably teach me a thing or two, and I'd appreciate it. Because I'm not the best. Okay, so peeling the backers off. Peeling this backer off. Didn't quite get it stuck down. There we go. Make sure the 12 is up at the top. Got to find the 12. There it is. Stick that in the center. I'm not going to stick that down yet until I can look at it good. There we go. So there's our second watch. Isn't that cute? I love it. I'm also a watch fan. I'm not going to throw Vince under the bus about that. I love watches myself. Now let's assemble this card. Let's go ahead and stamp this guy and get that done so I make sure I get it right. I'm also going to use another Close to My Heart stamp set. It is a different one. But these are things I have in my stash, and you know me, I go to my stash first. I've never even used this one. This one says Father's Day here, and it has this little happy word there. It's a little curved word. I'm going to do the same thing and load them on a block together. I haven't used that one before, so it's really sticky. Now this one I've used before. Okay, I'm going to have to stamp this one in separate pieces because they don't fit together, and that's okay. So I'm just going to do the Father's Day first. I'm going to put it to this side. Didn't quite get that inked up. So Father's Day here. Oops. There we go. And then put that away. On the other side, I'm going to use the word happy. It's an angled word. It kind of is on a circle. So I think it'll be kind of cute to do it here. That's good. Happy Father's Day. And let me get these out of the way real quick. Now we can just assemble this guy and see what we get. Let's put this guy down first. Just like so. I love that. I love the stripes. I'm really into stripes. Now, I think I'm going to do the same thing I did before and put this kind of on an angle like this and then lift this whole thing up. Or am I? I think I want that lifted up. Change of plans. I'm going to lift this up on top of here first. Let's see how that looks. Go ahead and put one of those little pieces I had left over in the middle. Peel this backer off. And then I'm going to put this on at an angle. That. Now, do I want to pop that up too? I kind of do. I'm going to do it. I want to do it. I'm going to do it. It's my card, right? Okay, so I'm going to cut some strips of this again and put them on the back and then pop that piece up too. Then, let's go ahead and see how we want this guy. I'm thinking I'm going to put him straight down here at the bottom. I think that'll look good, and then maybe put this kind of straight. I'm saying kind of because the chances of me getting everything straight. You know how that goes, right? Okay. So there's that. And plus, I'm not even looking at it. Let me check it. It's not the worst. It looks crooked because of the stripes, but we're going to make it. We're going to live with it. Alright, now I'm going to get some stamp. These are Stampin' Dimensionals from my paper pumpkin that I love so much. And I'm going to put some of these on the back. Just like that. And then I'm going to try to get this fairly straight. And if I don't, I'm sure my dad will forgive me. Let's just look at it. Looks pretty good. Let's fold it. And then crease it with our bone folder. So there we go, guys. 2 watch-themed cards for Dad, which I think these are so manly looking. I think they look great. I know this is probably going to, I shouldn't say because it's Wednesday before Father's Day, but I feel like this may be my father-in-law's card. This reminds me of him a good bit. And this, I don't know, it may be either Vince's or it could be my dad's card. I'm not sure. Hadn't decided, but this feels like my father-in-law to me. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Another venture in our Father's Day crafting series. Don't forget to join me on Friday where we'll keep going and we'll do another Father's Day craft. And if you're a part of our Patreon group, don't forget to join us on Saturday for the Make and Take Club. The link to that is below so you can see it. The materials for the project have already been put up, so you want to go check that out so you can get all your stuff ready for the class. Alright guys, thanks so much. Have a great one. I'll see you on Friday for some more Father's Day fun. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.